Welcome to Makers International, a podcast of makers from 3 countries, 2 continents, and featuring 5 guys separated only by the same language. Here's your host, Richard Morley.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good time, whatever time it is, and wherever you're listening. Joined with me as always, Mr. Chris Q.
How you doing?
And Mr. Jamie Page.
How you doing?
This week, we couldn't get rid of him. We've got Steve Twydell.
Hello.
And our very special guest this week joining us is Chris's good friend, Jae Rivera. How are you doing, Jay?
What's going on, guys?
Awesome. I will be right back with you in just a second, Jay. So just kind of compose yourself, talk amongst yourselves, because we've got a few little kind of housekeeping things to do, as always, just to bore people and scare away the people that actually probably don't want to listen to us anyway. So very quickly, we have Jim Dockrell, Harnell Media, Billy Burt, Pod Friends, Old NVNN, Nick Zametti, Andy Pugh, MG Makes, Mr. Ruben, A Woodworker's Son, and Sam Fabricator. That's both across on YouTube and on Instagram, and I think somewhere else, but I was away, so I was just thrown names by Jamie and Chris about 2 minutes ago. Excellent. Big shout out to all of you, and thanks for getting in touch. We do genuinely love that. And like I said before, when we say we love it, what we really mean is please talk to us. We have no friends.
Because we're lonely.
So lonely. Obviously, today's podcast is, as always, brought to you in part by Yorkshire Grip, Woodturn's Abrasive Paste, our good friend Chad over at Mancrafting, and also Pam over at Highland Boxes, who I believe is in the live chat, along with a few other people, such as, very quickly, and excuse me if I miss you, take a deep breath, Dave the Wood Barber, who I met the other week, actually, is a really nice guy. So big shout out to Dave, Pam, Andy Pugh, Wayne the Wood Turner, Steve Twydell, who's actually in the live chat and in the live show. That's very confusing. I won't be able to do anything with that. And also, let's just pick another one. Paul Lockwood, and there's loads of people, and it's already going crazy, and there's loads right at the bottom that have obviously just joined us. So if you want to find out more about our sponsors, because I just went off on a tangent and I've just been pulled back in, you can go to our website, makersinternationalpodcast.com// sponsors. I love that.
Richard, are you tired? Have you been on a road trip?
I am a little bit tired. I'm not drunk, honestly, but I am very tired. But actually, I think we should just bin the slash on the keyboard and call it a splash from now on. So let's hashtag splash.
Hashtag splash.
Right. So do we have any random listener questions from anywhere?
Yeah, we do. We asked for some random questions just prior to going on. And Mr. Andy Pugh hit us with one. And Andy, thank you for asking the question. The question, and I guess he wants a response from each one of us, so each one of you people pay attention. Which YouTube makers would you like to see do a collaboration together? If you had your choice and could pair 2 YouTube makers together to have them do a collaboration, who would they be? And whoever wants to go first can jump in there.
I think I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Just by their sheer personalities on their own, I'd go for Mr. Alsakshak and Mr. Pat Lap. I think them 2 together would be absolutely hilarious working together.
I think those two working together would be indistinguishable.
It may take that video may take a year to get produced, though. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's mine.
What about you, Steve?
Oh, Bobby Duke and Frank Howarth is my choice.
Wow.
Definitely. 2 completely different makers, 2 totally awesome videographers, brilliant with just the way they make the videos, and also the humor and everything. I think would be a brilliant collaboration. Great builds too, I'd say.
That would be actually very cool. Wow, we had a good suggestion. Thanks, Steve. Glad you're here today.
Thanks. That's it. My job here is done. I'll say good night.
That's the high point of the show. Everybody, thanks for coming on.
I really want to hear Frank Howarth say, "I want that."
Yeah.
Or
and Bobby
doing
Duke
the funny.
Thanks for watching.
Have Frank just show us a display and go, there's my wood. That would be hilarious. Richard, what about
Frank's
you?
A Frank Howarth scream.
I reckon, and these, I'll be honest, these aren't YouTubers I watch very often. I'll be honest, but I would like to see what's her name, the lass that does the crazy robots. What's her name? Simone. Is it Simone King?
Simone Gertz. Yeah,
Simone Gertz.
Yeah, and probably Colin Furze, because they both come up with absolutely BSC stuff, and I can only imagine what those two working together would. It would just be completely crazy.
It'd be hilarious.
Yeah,
some of it's pretty funny.
That'd be pretty cool.
Jay, what about you?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Jimmy DeResta and Andy Birkey, because Andy Birkey has one hell of an eye. His precision, his work, it's just incredible. Very talented human being, very knowledgeable. And Jimmy DeResta for his I don't give a damn type of work ethic. Just put it together, make it look pretty, and get rid of it. And, you know, like I said, you know, I can imagine it already. Jimmy doing something real, slapping things together, ripping it apart, safety's almost out the window. And then you got Andy in the corner just like, all right, he went to go take a piss. Let me go fix this real quick. And then Jimmy comes in, looks around, looks perfect. Andy's like, I know.
I know.
But they both have a beautiful, great guys, personal friends. I love them to death. But yeah, those two together would be awesome.
All right, mine is an attraction of opposites just because I'd love to see this happen. Mine would be a combination of Matthias Wandel doing a collab with John DeResta. Just because, well, if you're familiar with either one, then you know just because I think that would be a hilariously awkward video to watch. But anyway, that's my answer, Andy. So I hope that satisfies you. So there you go, Richard.
Awesome. Well, don't ask me. I'm on every week. We want to talk to Jay. We want to find out everything about Jay. We want to find out what he's doing at the moment, why he does what he does, why he started, everything. Social security number, bank account numbers, the works.
I don't think I remember those.
Well, how convenient.
Hey, good for you.
You forgot I'm from New York. I forget things quickly if I have to. No, officer, I do not know why I was drinking. Driving down the wrong way. This is the one way? It wasn't last night. When I started this.
And here are the keys to your patrol car.
You might don't want to check the back of the trunk. Just letting you know.
There might be a little shizzle in there that you're not aware of.
Something might have got a little frisky last night with a goat and 2 ducks. You have yourself a good night. I'll just let myself walk right up out of here.
Oh
Later.
my God. I knew this episode was going to go down this path. I just didn't know it was going to happen this early.
You couldn't have asked for a better introduction to Jay.
I don't know. I guess I'll start off with my name is Jae Rivera. I'm from New York City, Bronx, and just been making my entire life. And I don't know. It's backstory is simple, very easy. I've been tearing apart stuff my entire life, putting them back together, getting slapped the crap out of it by my mother for a while. Did you really take apart the VCR? Are you kidding me right now? But it still works. There's 17 wires on the floor and they're not connected to nothing. And so I learned really quickly, you know, how to put it back together and make it look like it works. And then finally later on, I learned how to actually make it work. You know, I guess that's where the term Jimmy comes in. You got to Jimmy something real quick.
Had to Jimmy it up real quick.
You got to Jimmy it real quick. And I am the owner of a woodworking company. I employ a couple guys, really good couple guys. I make loft beds. I'm mostly known around for my loft beds and for, tables and stuff like that. But I make such an array of stuff,
And that's what you do that like 6 days a week, man. I mean,
Yeah.
Just to give somebody a bit of a backstory. So, because that's why I'm going to let Jamie, Steve and Richard kind of handle the majority of this conversation, because Jay and I know each other probably better than we probably should.
Hold on, time out. Hold on, flag on the play. I came to your house the other week.
Yeah.
I stopped on by. I literally popped up out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And was like, I just want to see my brother real quick. Want to make him smile and everything. I knock on the door, on the wrong door. I knock on the door, and his wife comes down, and I hear, who the hell? She opens the door. She looks at me. She goes, oh, it's Jay. Chris! Jay, go on the back. Chris! He's over here. Tell me over there. So, yeah, it's really, really good friends.
Anyway, Jay and I speak on virtually every morning for at least a half an hour before Jay has to get his day going in the shop. And so I know what kind of work you put in, and I've got some questions from some people that saw, I don't know if anybody who's watching this saw the Facebook post that we put out, that kind of helped promote the show to let people know that it was happening today. But there were some people who saw that you were going to be on. They have some questions for us, but we can get to them later. I'll let Jamie, Richard, and Steve take it, from here and ask them. Let them ask you the things that I wouldn't think of because I already know them.
Okay, that's fine. Ask away. Nothing is unapproachable. Let it go. Fire.
Cheers, guys. Go.
How do you take your coffee?
My coffee is taken light and sweet with almond milk, and almond milk because New York City is getting gentrified, so I gotta switch over a little bit. That's about it. Light and sweet.
There you go.
Very trendy.
I was gonna say, just like you, yeah.
Just like my motherfucking self. I tried to stop Chris. I'm sorry, but it just came out. I'm sorry.
Beep.
Yeah, that's a beep. That's a big beep.
Sorry, that was my part. Sorry. Beep.
Right.
Honestly, Steve, you had
Timestamp.
one job.
Timestamp 14 minutes.
No, it's all right.
Jay, you're supposed to tell me when you're going to do it.
All right, you ready? I'm gonna do it.
No, wait.
Better be on your toes, buddy.
No, you're going to freelance that throughout the hour. I'm sure it doesn't matter. We don't need to worry about it. So,
Where's Andy with his public service announcements when you need him?
remember, you are watching this of your own free will. Exactly. Anyway, we didn't force you, so quit your complaining. Anyway,
I have a question for Jay. I didn't know that much about you until I heard that you were coming on the show, if I'm honest. And I went onto your YouTube and kind of caught up with bits and pieces. I watched the really awesome build between you and Chris, but I did notice that YouTube has kind of faded out now for you.
Yes.
I just wondered what's going on there. Are you looking at coming back? Have you got builds planned, or is your life just too busy for YouTube?
That in a nutshell, basically, I was going through something very traumatic at the time, and I was trying to keep myself as positive as possible. And anybody that knows me will let you know that I'm really about helping the next person. If I have to sacrifice a couple things, that's fine, because I'll get it again. I believe in working hard for what you want. So I basically what I did is I was doing it, trying to keep positive, even though in my personal life it was going down the toilet with a big load and it didn't want to flush. And it was going horrible. So I kept on doing it because I wanted to force the positivity. And I was trying to do like little, giveaways. I was trying to do anything to keep my brain activated on positivity. And finally it came crashing down on me. The busy part, yes, I'm always busy. I'm always busy. I'm always working. It's either I'm working or I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm always working. My brain is always going. But everything was fine. Everything was fine after that situation happened. It was time to rebuild myself. So I stopped everything. I just stopped. I said, screw it. And I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle that. Owning a company, employing 3 people, I just couldn't do it. I was like, I'm done. And then, you know, you got somebody like Chris that I talk to a lot because as a lot of people don't know about Chris, and I'm sorry I'm going to put it out there, but a lot of people don't know about Chris is that he's actually smart. You have to get past a lot of the layers of humanity and crust and mildew and sweet chocolate. Like, you have to get past all that stuff. And finally you get to the root of it and realize that that's a little rotten. You got to get a little deeper. But he's a great guy. He's an awesome guy. And he was, you know, giving me advice and telling me, you know, relax, this and that, da, da, da. And one day he was just like, yo, let's make a video. What's up? Yeah. And I was like, I'm down. You know, let's do it. So we did it, whatever, and I got the taste for it again, and I was just like, oh. And then I started making a little video, and then I would stop. And on my cameras, I must have a lot of videos made, but I don't publish them because I don't think it's good enough anymore. Now I want to be even better. I want to come out. So to answer that question, the second question, you know, do I plan on doing anything else? Yes, I do, but it's going to be bigger and better. And I want to make sure that this time when I do come back out in video production, that it's bigger. It's going to help even more people. It's going to influence a lot more people because of me being younger than a lot of my friends and associates. I can relate a little bit to the younger crowd. Mm-hmm. So I can bring them into this and saying, look, you know, making is not dead, because where I'm from, making is gone. It's completely gone. It's eradicated in all means. And it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. It should be all about, if you want something, get it done, work hard, make it, whatever you got to do. Just don't buy it from China and just think everything, oh, they'll make it for, are you kidding me? You know, we all know the love and passion that comes from making something, even if it's something as stupid as a toothpick.
Right.
It comes with passion with that. So I wanted to bring that back in. And so that's what I have. I do have that planned in. With my schedule of working, it's a little hard, but if I'm dedicated to something, I'm going to make it work, because I will throw enough crap on the wall until it sticks. And that's just the way it is.
That's awesome. Look forward to that.
You strike me as a guy who, you know, like you say, you want to kind of pay it forward and help the next guy. Do you find that, you know, when you were, like, in your words, there wasn't going to be a flush, that you were concerned more about your crew and the fact that, you know, they were relying on you and you had even more weight on your shoulders than perhaps you did? Now you can look back on it, I mean.
Yes. That was definitely an aspect of it, because my guys I love to death. They're funny, they're great people. And I had to go through over 20-something, if not 30-something people in a matter of 6 months. I was hiring and firing that many people just to get the crew that I got now. So I've really, really dug in the dirt and got my nails dirty to get the crew that I got now. And I love them to death. And I would never, ever, ever put weight on them like, oh, their boss is going through something personal that it might affect, you know, our security.
Right.
So I had to make sure that, okay, anything that can stop is going to stop right now. And I need to focus on getting myself back together, because something I'm notorious about saying is it's impossible to take care of anybody, whether it's your kids, your wife, your girlfriend, your lover, your boyfriend, whoever it is, without taking care of yourself.
Yeah, because I mean, Jay, we had talked about this. It's and you didn't have problems. I mean, you know, and this is typical with everybody. I don't even make this about you. It can be about anybody. Anybody who's got problems going on in their personal life. You can put that aside by making yourself busy, or, you know, diving into your work, making things, you know, and keeping yourself occupied elsewhere. But the problem comes in when you go home and you're sitting there by yourself.
Yeah.
That's when the issues start to get to you, and that's
It's
because that's when
crazy.
you have to face the reality of what is going on, and you got to deal with it, and you're not ready to do so. So you go back to work.
The problem with that was this: is that since I owned the company, and anybody that's ever been in a position of that type of magnitude, you don't have a 9 to 5. You have it 24/7.
No.
And in doing that, you have to always recreate your brand and push it forward and worry about your workers and worry about your income and worry about your kids if you have any and anything like that. So I was overloading myself with that.
Yeah.
And I didn't give myself a break. And I almost, as you know, I almost broke down to the point that I almost went psycho.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going through a very serious depression. And depression had me breaking down. It really did. I was going through a magnitude of things. And the main focal point was my divorce. And it was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But long story short, I felt like I couldn't love myself anymore. I didn't know how. So I focused on my company, and I don't get me wrong, my company, it grew a lot more.
Because that's all you were doing. That's
all I was doing, all I cared about.
Right.
But I lost pieces of myself that I actually enjoyed, which was making those videos, which was going out and seeing people and, you know, interacting on social media with people that would, because I would get messages from people that I had no clue who they were, talking about how much of a huge inspiration I was, and that what I said or what I did or the photo that I posted was a tremendous inspiration to them, and they thanked me so much. And it was like, holy crap, this is amazing. And then all of a sudden, everything stops.
Well, you know what? Everything stops because at some point in time, you can mask everything that's going on with you by keeping yourself busy doing this, doing that. But at some point in time, you got to face reality and you got to deal with what's going on with you. And that's when most people hit the low point that they would say, you know, I you know, because you got to hit rock bottom before you can come back up. Yep. And you hit rock bottom when you decide that, you know, or when you realize that, you know, I got to deal with this within myself. And until I do, I'm just putting on a plastic face for everybody else. I'm running a company. Yeah, exactly.
I tell people I was like the sad clown.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm crying inside and broken, but I got a face that I'm making everybody laugh. I love joking. You know, anybody that knows me, I love joking. I love having fun. I love having a great time, even at my own expense.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I mean, who else is gonna laugh when somebody sends you a T-shirt?
You know,
amazing.
We should talk about that. We should talk about that real quick. And I don't mean to change the subject a little bit, but I think the point's been made, Jay. And you know, God love you for putting it out there, man, because I think it's a struggle more people deal with than they actually are willing to fess up to. But tell me that T-shirt. Where'd that T-shirt come from? Because I know Jamie did it because only Jamie would. But I mean, what was the deal? In the beginning,
I got this shirt and I thought it was hilarious. Let me put it up so you guys can see it. It's my fat butt, about 100 pounds heavier. And it was me, Chris, Tim Sway, Dave Gagnon.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim goes, hey, did you guys see the video that they did of like a maker's interview? It looks like a hostage situation.
The Birkey.
The Birkey one. And I said, actually, I did. I thought it was hilarious. So he goes, I got a perfect idea. And we're all like, what's up? And he goes, have Jay as the one that's captured. Because anybody that knows about Jay knows that he's going to be pissed. He's going to come out with some funny stuff. And it's going to be the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So we do the video. It was a tremendous video. It was great. It was funny. It was totally off the cuff.
Yeah, and Jay, let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you. Anybody who wants to see this video, go check out Andy Birkey's channel because I believe the interrogation video with Jae Rivera is on Andy Birkey's channel.
It's on mine. It's on Tim's.
Okay, cool.
It's all you got to do is look up my name and it'll pop up. It's like one of the two videos right there.
All right, anyway, so go ahead.
Anyways, getting back to it. So we did the video. We thought it was hilarious. It was off the cuff. Tim didn't warn me about the questions, so I had no idea what was going on. Like I said, I just watched it with my girl the other day, and there's one part I forgot about. Let me just bring this real quick. He goes, "Why is your favorite team the Mets?"
Oh, damn. I love Tim Sway. By the way, Tim, I still love you for that question.
I was like, what? Because everybody that knows me, I'm a pure Yankee guy. And
we all have our deficiencies.
My girl is a Mets fan. Anyways, yeah, so you see where the battle's coming from. Anyways, So we did that, and this over here, this nut, sees the video, and he messaged me, "Hey, Jay." And I knew him at that time, but we didn't really talk like that. Like, we had a couple hangouts and stuff that we did, and I knew he was a good guy, and he goes, "What size are you?" And I'm like, "Size? I'm about 3 inches off the floor when I'm standing up." And he goes, no, like, this. And I'm like, "All right, I'm this size, blah, blah, blah." And he goes, "I got something coming to you." And I'm like, if I have to blow her up, then okay. So he sends it to me. I get this fucking thing, and I see it's a shirt. And it's the funny thing about it. It was folded like this. So you can't see nothing. My daughter's standing right there. And I go, he sees it first and goes, "Whoa." And I go, "Whoa." I thought it was the most hilarious thing ever because it really showed me who Jamie is.
Yeah, that's Jamie Page right there, Pipe.
And this was the beginning era of like the whole community thing and everything like that. And he was doing little edits here. This is the first time somebody's gotten a shirt with their ugly mug on it. With a face of like, what the hell? It was great.
Hey, Jay, I got a question. Have you ever gone into your shop wearing that shirt just because you had that kind of, yeah, of course you had that kind of attitude.
Of course I did. I was literally wearing this shirt like maybe 3-4 weeks ago. And one of my guys, Mario, he looks at me, he goes, "Oh, fuck, not this shirt again." And I look at him and I go, "What's wrong with my shirt?" And he goes, "Nothing." I'm getting back to work.
I just know what mood you're in today if you're wearing that. That's all. That's all good.
Yeah, he knew immediately. We're going to have some fun. We're going to get some work done, but it's going to be joke central today.
All right. Well, Jay, I got a question for me that was sent to me prior to us even going on the air. So I need to ask some questions here, if you don't mind.
Good.
Excuse me. I mean, trust me. And for Jay's honor, I'm drinking my beer out of a glass today, so it's giving me the burp. So I apologize. Andrew McQuillan messaged me before we went on the air and had a question for you. He says, "I have a question for Jay about his production process." Andrew mentions that you talked a bit about it during that video that you and I did. And I think that the video he's referring to was the one that we did, with the Portacable DeWalt thing, Jay, that we did together.
Yeah.
He says he talked about his production process a little bit, but he said he found it fascinating, and he would like to know if you could talk a little bit more about how in your business, because as Jay mentioned, he runs a woodworking business. Talk about your production process and how you go about getting things out the door. Andrew's interested in how you go about doing that, because you put, Jay, and to preface this for people who may not have seen the video, and if you haven't, trust me, I understand, it's on my channel. But how many on an average week, you put like 30 or 40 beds out the door a week, correct?
I'm trying to be slow. Yeah.
Okay, if that's you trying to be slow, but if you're in a busy season, you're doing hundreds of bed out the door.
Yes.
Okay, so he wants to know your production process. So talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind. Let's get into the maker scenario of how you run your business.
Okay, how I run it is majority of my lumber, or as you non-US people say, timber. How I get my timber is Majority from the big box store, unless I have to do something very special. So I go to the big box stores and I buy pretty much almost half of what they got. And I do that about 2-3 times a week. If it's a really, really large, if it's like my busy season, I'll have them come with actually flatbeds of wood. So it comes in, immediately it gets planed, immediately. There is no waste of time. Let's go, plane it. It's going through the planer all day. After it gets planed, squared up and everything nice and neat, it gets stacked. Now, how I do it is I stack it by, of course, by what it is, but at the same time, the way my shop is laid out, it's basically a U. That's how I got my tools set up. So I start from the right and I work my way down so I can get pretty much as fast as I can get done in order. And I also do something called batching out. So if I know I have 10 beds and they're all twin, all their rails are going to be the same size. Everything's going to be the same size. So if I set myself up of doing just the rails, I'll knock out all the rails in a matter of minutes. And yes, I do this by hand, all by myself. I make everything in my shop. After that, after the product is made and sanded, I give it to my next helper, which is Mario. He grabs it, and it gets transported to Mario by Lonnie, which he's also the planing guy.
Right.
Mario packs it, and then after he packs it by box, he puts it outside. UPS comes to my shop every day at 5 o'clock, and they take the products and deliver it.
All right, but what I always thought was fascinating about your shop, and it's kind of, and fascinating and funny, is Jay, who cuts the wood in your shop?
Me.
Yeah. I'm laughing about that because it's not that Jay doesn't trust his helpers. It's just that, no, if it's going to get done, it's going to get done by me. Jay just said, no, you ain't touching my saws. You're not doing this. You're not doing that.
They're not allowed to tell. I know this is going to sound like such an a-hole.
Well,
hey,
if it's you fits, brother.
It's a size 11. I'm going to wear it. Don't touch a screwdriver. I don't give a damn. If you got to hammer a nail in, you better ask for my permission. I want to see what you're doing. I want to know about it, because at the end of the day, it's my name on the table, not yours.
Right, exactly.
I've been doing this for a very, very long time. My reputation means a lot to me. It feeds my kids. So I'm going to make sure everything is done correctly every single time.
And you know what? That's kind of smart, because if something is wrong and you realize something is wrong, you get nobody to look at except the guy in the mirror.
Yeah, I blame myself completely, because I've tried to train somebody in my shop, because I would love to have somebody that can do what I do. Not saying that, I'm the best at what I do, but I would love to train somebody to do what I do. Is just the problem is that I don't have time to train nobody.
Right.
And I'm not going to pay you to follow me around the shop to see what I do and then answer 27,000 questions. I don't have time for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay myself to do the work and to get it the hell out the right time. You know, the first time, the right time, get it done.
Right.
And that's it. And yes, I have been known, and I'm very sorry, Tim Sway, but I have been known to make a mistake, and I will throw an entire 2x6 in the damn garbage because it was cut 2 inches short. So I'm sorry, Tim.
No, well, you don't need to apologize to Tim. You're running a production shop. I think that's probably understandable. I mean, if there was anybody in New York City that was aware of your operation, they could be the Tim Sway that comes by and pick up your scraps, you know, because then, I mean.
It's out there. And for the many people that watch this and listen to this and want to listen to this, and even in the future, even if this is like a year from now, make sure I'm there, though. You can go. I put out a dumpster in front of my shop every day, completely overstuffed. And I'm talking about a New York-sized dumpster, a huge dumpster.
With offcuts, yeah.
Every day with offcuts. If anybody ever needs offcuts, don't even ask, hey, where's your shop located? I'll tell you. You can come by, pick it up. You can come by, take as much as you want. I do not care about that, because to me, it's garbage.
It's going to the dump because you're done with it. Yeah. It's part of running a business.
There's large pieces in there that I wish I can use. I just don't have the time.
It's like cabinet shops. Cabinet shops would love to hang on to all the, extra little, really nice pieces of wood they have, but they don't have time for that because they've got work to do.
How many times I went to my buddies? Yeah. They own a glass shop, and I'm doing something that has to do with, the glass that I need for like a river table or something like that. And I'll contact them, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I got this piece. I'm about to throw in the garbage."
Speaking of throwing something in the garbage, Andy Birkey, how are you, brother?
I love it.
I'm sorry, and I don't mean that, but I mean, come on, I can't give you like hugs and kisses every time we see you.
Why not? It's Andy.
Well, because he won't give me.
Take a picture of that, he'd make it pretty.
Well, brother, if you think he's going to give me hugs and kisses every time he sees me, then you don't know Andy very well. I'm sorry, it's not happening. How are you, brother?
Hi guys, how are you?
Yo, Andy.
I'm sure you want to come. I'm sure you want to come in here because you had some input as far as Mr. Rivera goes. So if you do, then let Jay have it because God knows he deserves it.
I actually know that Andy had a question out in the chat that I was waiting to ask, but since Andy's here, he can ask him himself now. Because I'd like to see Jay's reaction when he asked him.
Oh boy.
Well, I just want to say,
Andy, I just spoke wonderful about you.
I missed that part.
All right, and I love you.
Bonus. Now, no, Andy, Jay, he's sugarcoating crap. Don't let him.
Yeah, fuck it. Let me get it. What's up?
Well, I just have to say, one of the most frightening experiences of my life was getting off an airplane in LaGuardia Airport and getting into this white van that I had never met Jay.
My wife had van.
This van looked like Charles Manson had designed it.
It said free candy on the side, right?
It said free candy on the side of it.
It says free Wi-Fi. I had to upgrade.
We proceeded to drive through New York and the Bronx and Manhattan and wherever on no more than two wheels at any given point for at least 3 hours. And I aged. I used to have a full head of hair. I used to be like 14 years old. And look at me now. And that was a result of this one adventure. And I just want to know if you still have free Wi-Fi spray painted on the side of your van.
I actually upgraded. I got it stenciled in.
So it's easier to read. And Jamie, thank you for Andy. This is an offshoot of you. What Jamie is showing us right now. This is you are watching this of your own free will. Oh, go Wolves! Oh, we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that.
Yeah, but his wife has went and bought a Tottenham T-shirt, so.
That's true.
Too funny. Jay, let's Andy. While Andy's here, we might as well talk about that trip because the three of us took it together. Because we went up to we went up to Taylor's and Jimmy's place to go help her build that teepee.
Yes.
And I know that out of the three of us, two of us were out there really trying, and we were out there actually trying to put this thing up. And I don't want to point fingers, Jay, but there was somebody that was uniquely absent from that whole build process that I kept finding on the porch having a sip of one thing or the other at one point in time. So,
first of all, to my defense, I was the only person that could have Taylor stand on my shoulders so she can actually stitch the thing that she had to do. So I helped out.
That was your contribution.
Yes. I got you guys there. What do you want? What the hell? Like I'm doing a lot over here.
We had to wait 20 minutes for Jay to walk his ass off of Jimmy's porch all the way out into the field and come hold Taylor on his shoulders. Then he went job done and went back over and sat his ass back down.
In my defense, that was considered my vacation because everybody knows I don't take vacations. So every time that I actually leave my shop, it's a vacation. Especially I'm with my brother Andy, I'm with Chris, I'm with a bunch of guys, and that is also so amazing. That's a vacation, and vacation means that you don't do shit.
Yeah, you make me break in church.
When somebody tells me, "Hey Jay, come help with this TP," I'm gonna go, "Hey, how you doing? I'm from go, okay?" And then I'm gonna keep it walking, and I'm gonna go grab me a coffee.
Well, I mean, I wasn't there, so I can't make a comment firsthand. But it does strike me as a little bit suspicious that Chris might be casting these aspersions on your character and trying to besmirch your good name. A video where we can all clearly see Jay completely emptying his own truck of just a mountain of timber.
And Chris taking one little splinter.
Do you see what I'm saying? I'm carrying almost a little over 100 pounds of wood, and this guy over here is carrying something that weighs less than my foot. Come on. It's just unfair in life.
Oh, come on. All right, well, you know what? I have no defense for that except to say, if you can't realize that was a setup scene, then you have no freaking clue. But whatever.
Dude, you can't say I don't have any excuse for that. But no, you just said you don't have any.
I was waiting for him to finish because you heard that, right?
No, I had it.
Something my mother told me in my life when I was a kid.
Hey,
anything after a butt is pure bull.
I love how you jerks just spin this back on me. See, that's Andy. Can we kick Andy off here real quick? I mean, where's the make him go? No, just kidding. But Jay, we and for Steve, Richard, and Jamie, I mean, who weren't on that trip with the three of us, we did manage to break into a church.
Yes.
And that may sound like sacrilegious, but the place was deserted. But in all fairness to Jay, it was not Jay's criminal history that made us break into this church. It was Andy Birkey that said, "Hey guys, let's pull over." And he's the guy who actually broke into the freaking church.
Here's the crazy part about the entire situation. Not only do you have his, because you can't just say my criminal past.
No.
Say Andy's too, okay?
All right, and mine as well. If we have to go there, then mine as well.
Let's be honest, all right?
Okay.
So that's first of all. Second of all, how do you have immediately two guys standing there and one goes, "I'm going in." The other one goes, "I got you. I'll look out for the cops."
And I've got your flag. Don't worry about it. Go ahead. Go.
He's the middleman. Chris is the middleman. Andy's crawling through crap to get inside. And I'm standing there with a free Wi-Fi van going, "I dare you come over here."
The crew put together.
It was a disaster from the beginning.
Yes, it was.
That was fun. That we did have a good time on that trip. I don't mind telling you.
Huge shout out. Huge shout out.
I think
to them for having us there.
Personally, I think the end of the build video that yourself and Chris did, I think the better ending would have been when you were both sitting on the bench, Jay getting up and Chris just going and falling. The whole thing just.
No, the better ending that would have been if Jay just decided to scoot over in my direction and I fell off the bench.
I need more for my ass.
Yeah. All right, Jay, next time you come up, I still got that bench. We need to rework that ending and I'll edit that in.
Yeah, definitely.
And re-upload it so that you bump me off the bench and I bite the dust. I mean, because it's not like we're being serious here. We did make a serious project, but I mean, we had a good time making that video. I mean, I don't mind telling you that Jay and I were. Well, I'm not.
Can I just ask one question about it though?
Sure.
Who made the cut? Whose fault was the wrong cut?
Wasn't mine.
Whose fault? What?
There were certain pieces of wood that were too long and had to be recut.
That was my fault.
That was Jay's. We had to do the step downs, and because I mean I don't do math. I mentioned that I went. Well, Andy was with us when we did our 100th, and I said my math class says, and so now Andy knows what my math class says. I don't do maths. It's like, and so Steve, you were there too. So yeah, I let Jay handle the maths. And
Yes, maths.
It sounds like you don't do English either.
well. Oh God.
Not like what we does.
All right, enough from the peanut gallery. I'm done.
You are not.
I like this podcast. is the best interview I've ever been on.
Going back to it, because we start talking about the videos now and all the rest of it, and the one that kind of did stick out to me was the one with Chris, because it, you know, if people haven't watched it, go watch it, because it is absolutely hysterically funny. But there is a slightly more serious side to you as well. I mean, you come across, and you know, the more we get to know you, we can see this kind of guy that doesn't take himself too seriously, but at the same time knows that there's a serious side to things and all the rest of it that we've already covered. But that kind of ties in with videos as well, because I can remember quite some time ago now when you were sitting in your van doing kind of vlog style things. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I got the impression that you'd literally be driving from A to B, and then you'd think of something in your head, and you'd stop halfway, pull over in a lay-by somewhere, and just turn your camera on and just start talking to it.
Yes.
And to me, I find that very powerful, because it's literally just a totally transparent, curtains open, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling. And it's very easy. I mean, everyone knows it. Some people talk about it. The internet's a very filtered environment.
Yes.
You know, we all put out the best moments. We all put out the most wonderful times. Yep. But you flipped that around, and if it was a positive moment, that came up. But if it was, you know, the dark side of human life, because we've all had them, we will all have them again. Yep. Whether we like it or not, you just bring it out. And that to me is, like I said, it's very powerful. Can we expect anything like that in the future, or have you got any plans?
Yes.
Are you able or wanting to talk about that? Maybe a kind of
one of the things that I'm going to be doing is I'm definitely going to be doing more of those type of videos. I want to keep basically the same, as you said, the same type, like just pulling over, stopping, and saying, "Listen, this is what's up." Because, as you said, I realized later on what I was actually doing, and how powerful it could be for people once I started getting the notifications, like, "Hey, listen, you know, you don't know me, but it's helped me what you said because it's real," or whatever the case may be. But I'm definitely going to be doing that again, because I know that it helps people, and it's respected. It's respected very, very, very highly, and it's known that, you know, the person that I am, I'm a very open book, and I tell people all the time, if you don't want an answer that's real, don't ask me, because I'm going to tell you.
That would be the gospel. I mean, because if you don't want, if you don't want to know what Jay thinks, then please do not ask him, because he will flat out tell you, and it's not always pretty.
And you know what? And it's not even to be, you know, a tough guy or nothing. Oh, he's from the Bronx, and you know, I don't care. I don't care if I was from Timbuktu. I'm going to tell you exactly where you messed up, if I think you messed up, what you did was wrong. I don't care if it ruins a relationship or anything, because the way I look at it is this: if I give it to you real and you can't take it and you move away from me, we was never real in the beginning. So I can get away from me anyways.
I can totally 100% relate to that. I used to work in a place where I was renowned for doing exactly that. Somebody would come up with this new wonderful plan, in inverted commas, and they'd say, "Oh, I've got this brilliant plan." You know, you'd come up in a meeting. What does everyone think? And straight away, I'd be thinking, that won't work because of this. Have you thought of that? Why don't we do that? You can't do that because of this. And you tell them, and then suddenly they don't like you.
Like, what are you doing? Oh, you're supposed to agree. Says who?
Exactly.
Who says that I have to agree with you? And that's the good thing about in my life, I'm my own boss. So I'm not going to be fired. What's the worst that's going to happen to me? Somebody's going to say, "Hey, your video was really stupid. Get ready to bleep." And normally I'll be like, "Yeah, you can go fuck yourself." Real quick.
I got that one on the.
I'll tell somebody, you know, go screw off. Go find the tallest building and jump the hell off. I don't care. Your opinion doesn't matter to me. But what matters to me is that one person that's seen that video, whether it's a kid or an adult, a man or a woman, I don't care who you are, what you are. Did it affect you so much that it's making you think? Is it making you say, hold up, you know what he said was right? And you don't have to tell nobody that this is what happens.
No, and Jay, I don't want you to put I don't want you to put yourself out there wrongly, and because people may listen to that and get the impression that Jay thinks he knows everything and he's always right. But no, trust me. Let me finish. A lot of the videos that people were talking about that had to do with you and your van, it has to do with you talking through things that you're going through. And so you can almost see the thought process of how when you start the video and you're talking about crap that you're going through and you end up with where you think you should be. And it doesn't mean you've achieved that point in time. It's just you're trying to give yourself advice at the same time you're trying to help other people go through the same thing. And it's a matter of there are people out there who don't have other folks to talk to. And they need to have people to talk to, or they have to feel like they're part of a conversation, even though they may be too afraid to have that conversation. You let them have that conversation with you, even though they're not vocalizing their opinions as you say something. And so I think that has something. I think that has a lot to do with what you're doing as far as that goes.
Well, thank you. And I'm gonna say this: when these videos, do start back up, because I have somebody in my life now that is a true backbone for me. She helps me in every way, and she's very confident, and we help each other. But she's an amazing person. I'm gonna be making these videos again, and when I do, it's like I said, gonna be some of them are gonna be the vlogs, and if I'm going through something, we're gonna talk about it. But it's also going to be about, believing in yourself and conquering your fears, and stop bullcrapping yourself. Stop. That's pretty much a lot of my videos are about. Stop lying to yourself, because at the end of the day, you're not hurting nobody else but yourself. You want this, you want that, you want this. Fine. It's a beautiful thing to want. But if you don't work for it, you'll never get it.
Well, and plus, if you're lying to yourself, then you're always going to be faced with, like we talked about earlier, you're always going to be faced with that alone time. Mm-hmm. Where there's nobody around and you're looking at the four walls and you're going, and that's not healthy. That's not healthy. So, I hear you.
I think from the other side as well, with being a person that suffers from depression, I think also not getting it out can make you so unproductive too. I mean, you can just hit this wall where you can't talk to people, you can't get stuff out, and all of a sudden you just go in on yourself. You can't be productive. You have no get up and go. You don't want to go into your shop. You don't want to make anything. You don't want to talk to anybody. So even just sitting in your van, and even if you don't even switch the camera on, you look at that camera and you tell the camera exactly how you're feeling. That in itself can give you the power to move on and start generating energy again. Yes. If you can't get your inner self out, then you can just get trapped in the four walls and just stay there. And that's the good thing about talking and getting it out there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did one video one time called Commitment to Yourself. And it basically speaks on that. Like, you gotta love yourself. You gotta care for yourself. You gotta push yourself forward and believe in yourself. You really gotta believe in it. You gotta love yourself. You have to. It's impossible to love somebody else, and if you don't love yourself,
right?
You know that love is real. You can't love your child. You can't love your wife, your husband, whatever. You can't. So, that video was extremely strong for me, and I got a huge amount of response for that. And the one about fear, like getting over fear. So yes, I do talk about, things that I'm going through, but it's mostly about you. It's mostly about what your parents won't even tell you. It's more about what your caretakers won't tell you, your friends, your own supposedly friends, they won't even tell you these things. But I say it a little bit raw, because at the end of the day, if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Well, and you're from Brooklyn.
Well, yeah, and you're from Brooklyn, and you're a Yankees fan.
And you're jacked up on coffee.
Brooklyn.
You're jacked up.
I'm from the
Bronx. They're all the same.
Hey, yeah, I'm
Excuse
just.
Andy, listen, guy from Chicago. Yeah, get ready. You can go fuck yourself. I love you. Fuck you, all right? No, but seriously speaking, if anybody ever, wants to, go through those catalogs. I'm not saying subscribe. I don't ever push myself like that. But if I don't ever, whatever. But if you ever want a little pick me up, go check those out. Watch it a little bit. And it's only a couple videos out there, and there is some coming down the pipeline, and hopefully it will help you. And I am busy. I am very busy, but that does not mean that I won't respond to you. That does not mean that you can't reach out if you need a help, if anything. And if I don't know the answer to something, I will get the answer, because I do know a lot of people. I know a lot of great brothers and a lot of great sisters. I got a big community that I can lean on if need be, and I will get the answer. So I just want to put it out there that if you ever need something, let me know. And you need some words of advice, whatever. Even if you just need somebody to talk to, let me know. We can talk.
Awesome. Jay, it's been great having you on, brother.
I appreciate it, guys.
No, it really has. It's been great.
Yeah, it's been all right, I suppose.
Yeah.
Come on, get ready. I'll do the beep bit, Jay.
Ready?
I'll do the beeps.
No.
Go fuck yourself.
Is that the title of this episode?
Well, you know what? It should be, but it won't be, because we may have to clean this one up a little bit. Not a lot.
We'll have to get a soundbite just like playing Birkey.
Yeah,
I'm wondering how many t-shirts JP has generated this evening.
Oh, you know what? No, you know what? Anybody who knows Jay will know what they're going to hear today. So if people are listening to this when they first start and don't think that that's going to be there, they're wrong. So no, you know what? I probably won't.
Yeah, if you don't have tough skin on this one, buddy.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I mean, nobody says it in malice. It's all just in fun.
Yeah,
anyway.
And that's kind of the beauty of this show, is we get to have such varied people on. So you can literally, like Jay said himself, if you don't like it, then I won't repeat it. But that's fine. That is absolutely fine.
Oh, fuck yourself. I don't care.
It's just like real life. That's exactly what it is. Some people we get on with, some people we don't. Some, I'm not saying I don't get on with you, Jay. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going down that road. I'm just thinking of it from, culturally, other people aren't going to be used to your kind of speak.
Yes.
And I absolutely am. And it doesn't bother me at all. So what you say is not, or rather, let me just back up a tiny bit. The way you say things does not change what you're saying.
Yes.
No.
If you can look past the enunciation, there is some absolute gems in there. And because, like I said,
I really, really do appreciate that, because that's what I'm pretty much trying to put out there. It's not. I don't have any problems with anybody or anything like that. And if I do, please remind me. But I don't mean to offend anybody ever. I'm not going to be the type that says I love everybody, because I don't. I can't stand a lot of people. But
That's honesty.
But the people that are in my circle, they know at any day, night, evening, I don't give a damn. I'm there for them. And the people that are associated with them can come to me even if they don't know me. You don't have to know me to ask me a question. I'm here for everybody, because at the end of the day, it makes no sense to have knowledge. I'm not saying I'm the smartest guy in the world, but it makes no sense to have knowledge and not share it with people, because then you're just being stupid.
Yeah.
So how knowledgeable are you really? I've been through some things, and I've been through things that people wouldn't dare to ever imagine themselves going through. And I've made it out alive, apparently. And I have been successful, sort of, in my life. And, even when I thought I was at my lowest of lows, I come out winning. It might take some time, but I come out winning. And, just to say this again, I have a woman in my life that, I love dearly, and I didn't think, honestly, I was the type of person to ever, fall in love again. And guess what? Bam, there it goes. So it happens. It does happen. You just got to believe in yourself, work at it, and get out of your box. You got to get out and you got to do things. Don't be scared. Get rid of it. That fear is going to do nothing but either push you back or it's going to light a fire under your ass. And at the end of the day, you want that fire, but make sure that you think about that fire because that damn thing burns.
Yeah.
So don't take, and that's another thing I say is I don't lose. I don't ever take L's in my life. I take lessons.
Hey, Jay, I don't mind telling you, but you just did a video. You could do another one tomorrow in the same amount of time it just took you to do that one, and you'd be back on track, my brother. But unfortunately, and I have to be the Joe here, it is time to wrap this thing up. But Jay, it has been a pleasure to have you on, my friend, and I knew who you were going to be when you came on, so there's no apologies needed. Do not worry about who you are. If people can accept you for what you are, great. If they cannot, well, then, you know what? I'm not going to apologize for you because that's going to be your problem, not mine. So thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Anybody that's out there listening, please believe in yourselves. You can do it. You can make anything you want to do happen. So
you're the man, Jay.
You are the man.
Absolutely. Now, Jay, we always kind of wrap up the show with a shout out or somebody that's kind of either inspired us or has been notable or interesting over the past however long. Is there anyone you want to kind of give a shout out to, give a mention to, highlight, or anything like that?
Does it have to be a maker?
Not at all. Anyone you like.
All right. I know. I'm beating this with a stick, but I'm gonna say Amy. That's my girl because she's my rock. She's definitely getting me places mentally.
Awesome.
I didn't believe that was gonna happen, and everybody knows that I got a couple friends and they're great, and I love them. I love you guys to death. Like I'll do anything for you guys, and I hopefully I've shown it.
Well, Jay, I don't ever want to be your Pam because I know what your intentions towards her are going to be different than me, and I don't want you looking at me like that. Whoever you just said. I'm sorry. Amy, Pam, Amy. Well,
yeah. What is wrong with you, buddy?
Well, no, it's two of the right letters. Come on.
Well, don't get me in trouble. Okay? My friend, you're about to get me in trouble.
It's Chris's wife that needs to worry who Pam is.
Tell Amy I'm sorry, but thank you for not referring to me in her context. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys, for having me. I really do greatly appreciate it, and it's been fun.
All right, Richard, go.
Wicked. Well, being as Andy's here, we might as well put him on the spot as well. Andy, you got anyone to shout out this week? A no is a perfectly acceptable answer.
Oh man, that is a crazy one.
Should we come back to you? Give you a little few seconds to.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay then.
Give me a second.
Jamie.
I gotta think.
Yeah, I've got a shout out. My shout out this week is from Instagram and Facebook as well. But it's the same wonderful person. My shout out goes to Robin Jacobson.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
The better half of some, I don't know, small YouTube channel called Jacobson or something. Some sort of wood turner or something, I hear.
The simple sander.
Yeah. But after weeks and weeks of badgering him to get him to teach her how to turn or sand, she eventually got round to doing it, and she turned this most amazing goblet for her first try, and it came out absolutely incredible. So her Instagram name is Mrs. Robbins Jacobson on Instagram. So yeah, go and give her a follow. She's close to 500 followers at the moment.
Awesome. And links to all these people will be in the description on Wednesday. So anyway, all right. Awesome, Jamie.
Yeah.
Richard?
Well, actually, I was going to say, can I go next? Because I've got an Instagram person as well, and this person is a maker. And this person is not I wouldn't say they're not particularly well known unless you went to Maker Central. I'm going to say this year, because don't forget, it was only like 3 months ago. Everyone that's saying Maker Central last year. Anyway, that aside, so I'm going to shout out a gentleman called Jim Kelman, aka Pam's dad. aka hashtag Jim's a legend, because if you met Jim at Maker Central, you would remember, for one thing.
Legend.
Obviously, we've been out on the road trip, Kat and I, this week, and we stopped off up in the Highlands to meet Pam, and we stayed with Jim for a couple of days, and it was literally the most amazing experience. Jim is an awesome turning teacher. He's got an awesome channel, and he is just an absolute legend. He's such a nice guy. So if you don't follow Jim Kelman on Instagram, go and do that now before anyone else.
How do you spell it?
It is Jim, Jim Kelman, Kelman. He has currently 21 followers. I'd love to get him, because he's so appreciated, and he's not big on YouTube. He's not well known, but he's such a nice guy. He's new to Instagram, and we need to show him some love, because he's literally
Hashtag Jimmy's a legend.
Jim's a legend, yeah, because he really is. He's such a nice guy. So that's my shout out. So Jim, if you're listening, because I know some evenings you do, thanks for all the hospitality you showed us, and I am desperately looking forward to Maker Central next year to see you and give you another big hug, because you are a legend. Cheers, Jim. Yeah. Anyone else?
Steve.
Yeah, I was actually prepared for this one this time. I watched a pretty cool video, woodturner on YouTube. Now, he's very well known. He's got a lot of subscribers, but his name is Andy Phillip.
Yes.
And he turned an armadillo lamp, which was pretty awesome. It was he basically cut, I don't know how many, probably 50 or 60 equal square pieces of wood, and he put spacers in to make the wood come fan shape, if you like, armadillo shape, and then filled the gaps with resin, and then turned an armadillo shape on the lathe, and then turned it into a lamp. It's just an awesome video. If you can head over and watch that, it is awesome. He doesn't need the views, but I still think he's an awesome wood turner.
Cool. Talking about not needing the views, I thoroughly enjoyed the 45-minute Adam Savage, Laura Comp video this week. And I gotta say, I almost teared up when Simone showed up on set and threw in a little bit there. We often say how much this community means, but I don't know Simone, but to go through what she did, and with the support that she got from people, to normal people, what we do, we interact with people all over the world on the internet that we don't know. And that's just weird, right? But you see somebody go through something like that with that kind of support, it's, bite me, because that's real. And it was just really cool. I mean, I consider Laura one of, like a little sister, and to see them together, and Adam, of course, is just vibing, right? He's just so amped he can't hardly stay in his skin. But anyway, that's what I've got a pretty short attention span, and 45 minutes I went by like nothing flat.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw that. That was a great video. All right, Jay, I'm gonna leave you to last, so I'll go ahead and do mine. And I have two real quick this week, if you don't mind me doing this. Lucas Jenny, if you haven't seen Lucas Jenny, and you have to understand that his YouTube channel is Jenny JENNI.Swiss. So if you want to do a search on YouTube for him, you can find him there. He did a forging video on how to make a tomahawk out of a 60-millimeter wrench, and this wrench was huge. But I really dug his process, because he's got one of those forges that has like a foot-powered bellows to it. And the way he went about forging this tomahawk was just, it was actually a very interesting video for somebody who doesn't do forging and somebody who doesn't do metal work. I loved it. So Lucas, great video. If you have a chance to go check it out, go do that. Lucas Jenny. The name of the YouTube channel is Jenny.Swiss on YouTube. So do that. And there's another one that I sent Richard a link to earlier before we went on the podcast. And I just found this YouTube, and it doesn't need the shout out. In case people are into modeling, because I used to be very into modeling when I was younger. And this is a cool channel if you're into it. Is a channel called Flight Test. And it's not flight the way you would normally spell it. It's FLITE test. Flight Test.
That's how I'd normally spell it, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, no, we usually use a GHT in there somewhere, Richard. So, hey, whatever. Maybe it's an English, what a British thing. I don't know. But anyway, this channel's got like 800 some odd thousand subscribers to it. But they did an 8 foot They built an A10 Warthog with an 8 foot wingspan, and flew it. And flew this thing, and it was. I'm sorry. I just thought that was very, very cool. So, I mean, if you have the opportunity to check that video out, go ahead and do so. Link will be in the description. But that's mine. Jay,
I thought you were talking about the other kind of modelling.
Yeah, so did I for a second. I could just imagine Chris going up and down the catwalk
In a pair of high heels.
They didn't actually fly. It just kind of strolled up the runway with a little bit of a swagger, and then turned around at the end and stopped.
I just want to point out
down the runway again.
In testing for this podcast, I did a private Facebook poll, and I asked the public what they thought of Jamie Page and Steve Twydell, and neither one of them nobody likes. But so
That's why we're so popular.
Well, I didn't want to tell you that. Now that you put me on the spot, I'm going to go ahead and just mention it. So, Jay, do you have anybody that you would like to shout out today, and just ignore these other, whatever they are?
He's already done it, Chris.
Well, I mean, did you get hit in the head?
Besides Amy, he's our guest. I wanted him to have the last word. Andy, do me a favor.
I do want to say, I was thinking about what I said earlier. I do want to say, do subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, there you go. Jay.
Jay's World, JAES WORLD. Jay's World on YouTube, and there's going to be some videos coming out that I hope will help somebody. And even if it's not for you, hopefully it's for somebody else that you know.
I'd love to see some shop videos, Jay, to be honest with you, of how you run your shop and your day-to-day process. I'd love to see that.
That's also in the works as well.
Well, Steve, you know what? I think that may happen, and Jay will never do it because I know Jay. He may say, "Oh, that's in the process," but he's never going to freaking do that. It's going to take.
I still remember Jay dancing in his shop and posting it in the group.
Yeah,
that was hot.
Actually, Chris doesn't know this, but he will be taking a trip to my shop one day.
No, I know that. That's the only way that video is ever going to happen because I'm going to have to hop on the train and go to the Bronx and film Jay. That's the only way that video is ever going to happen.
But yes, it's JAES, not JAY. It's JAES WORLD. Jay's World. Please subscribe because I'm going to have some stuff for you guys, and hopefully somebody can benefit from it out there.
There you go. So Jay pimps himself. That's a nice way to. That's a nice way to finish.
Pimp it out, baby. Pimp it out. What do the kids do now?
Oh, no, it's all right. No, it's okay. If they don't like what they see, they can just say, "Hey, go." Never mind.
Awesome. But just so everyone.
Sorry, there's one other quick thing. Everyone wants to know what Birkey's channel's called out in the chat.
No idea.
It's called. I think it's called Andy Birkey.
Just Google Blaine Birkey.
Everyone in the live chat wants to know what Birkey's channel is. Click on Birkey's name in the live chat. Go to the 3 dots, and where it says "Go to Channel," that will take you to his channel, and then you can see.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Andy Birkey on YouTube. Go check him out because Andy is. Well, I'm not going to give it to him, but he's kind of freaking amazing. So don't tell him.
He's so good, he makes me sick.
I know I hate him, but whatever.
I hate that guy.
Other than that, don't bother. Don't bother.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Jay, it has been a different kind of episode, but it has also been an awesome episode because you don't sugarcoat things. You don't hide behind the internet. You are you when you're on the internet and everything in between. So that is kind of refreshing and nice as well. So thanks for coming on, and it was awesome. We do unfortunately though have to wrap it up this evening, and I can't believe there's actually 38 listeners actually watching us live still. So for that, we thank you. If you're not listening to us anymore, we will of course say what we like about you. So until next week, when I have no idea what's going on, but something will be, we'll see you later. So everyone, until then, you take care.
Jay, love you, man. But everybody else, have a great week.
See you, everybody.
Yeah.